Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm excited to see what the runes have to say for this week ahead. But of course, before we get into it, I want to talk about the astrological implications of what's been going on this week. It's been a heavy hitter. We just had Mercury move into Cancer, which is amplified by the energy of the Sun, since the Sun is currently in Cancer as well. And then we also had Neptune go into retrograde, which I had mentioned last week, which is quite interesting. And we also have Mars just moved into Taurus. So a lot of stuff, a lot of astrological movements that are quite influential for our week and the few weeks ahead, especially considering that our planet of communication, which is Mercury, is in the sign of Cancer, which is ruled by the moon. So our emotions will be playing heavily into how we communicate with others at this time. So we should expect to see unexpected messages. We should expect to see messages from past partnerships or from past lives, whether it's an actual past life in the sense of a previous life in regards to this one, or a past life in the more metaphorical sense of one of our previous iterations of ourselves. Like, for example, hearing from old friends, or hearing from old experiences or old exes, or hearing from people that you haven't heard from for quite some time that you would consider to be a part of a past life, or a life that is before the one that you're currently living. So we're seeing a lot of this emotional energy coming into play into our communication, into the ways in which we talk to one another. So be advised that there's going to be some emotionally charged conversations, or at least conversations that really bring to light what we have been feeling, truly feeling, for the past week or for the past week and a half. We are also being invited with Taurus, with Mars moving into Taurus, because Mars is in detriment in Taurus, which means that Mars is not really happy to be in that sign. But what we can learn from it is that Martian energy of taking risks, taking chances, is really just saying, give yourself an opportunity to sit and be patient, to allow the things that you want to grow in your life. Take the risks that you need to take, but allow them to take root and then blossom in their own time, right? It's a lot about patience in the coming weeks ahead. So, with that said, I want to see what the runes have to say for this week. Cool. Let's see. So during the preliminary meditation, as I was chanting and bringing in the energy for the runes to take root, I was singing a song that was associated with the world tree Yggdrasil. And I saw myself sitting in front of the tree, but the tree, instead of having green leaves, which I would assume given the summer months, I saw it having golden leaves, or leaves of like autumnal leaves, that kind of autumn energy. So it feels to me that as we're heading closer to Lugnasa is going to be on August 1st, which will be the Celtic calendar shift of the halfway point between the summer solstice and the fall equinox. So Lugnasa, or the harvest festival, really represents the true shift, the true falling into the fall time. Even though we're still considered in summer, right? We're still in the summer energy. We have passed the summer solstice and we have passed the halfway point once we reach Lugnasa, and we are heading towards fall. We're heading towards the autumn energy. So I find that to be interesting because it also represents that there are things that we are releasing this week, or things that we will be letting go of this week that is going to allow us to prepare for the greater abundances that are to come in the fall. Because I do feel like there's a lot of abundance in the fall and in the fall time. So starting in September, there's going to be some good energy flowing in for us, especially for those of us who watch the channel, because I am doing a general reading, but it is for you guys, right? And hopefully for the world too. you know, it's nice to give good energy for the planet as well. So hopefully by the fall, we're going to see very good things coming into our planetary energy. But all in all, it seems to me that that fall or the autumn energy is referencing the patterns or the psychology or the narratives or the people even that we may need to allow ourselves to release into a different life, right? As we welcome in something new, because the fall is all about release and all about letting go. It's also about harvest. It's all about bringing in the things that we have worked on, right? So it's a very abundant time to come, and I think that this week is going to be quite abundant, but the beginning of the week is going to have some moments of release, moments of emotional release. And I see that here because we begin with Raido. So Raido represents the chariot, it represents the wheel, it represents the vehicle of motion, right? So in that sense, we can look at Raido from a major arcana perspective as a combination of the chariot and the wheel of fortune. So this week, starting this week, so starting today into tomorrow, we're going to see some very heavy shifts in our environment. Whether we may be moving, we may be going on a trip, we may be having a shift of perspective, because it could also mean like a vehicular shift. The vehicle of our mind may shift. It may not just be a physical vehicle, but I do see physical energy here, so I wouldn't be surprised if some of us may be moving, thinking of moving, going on a trip, a weekend trip, or experiencing changes in our environments, whatever that may be, right? But this change is going to galvanize us to experience something different, because what I'm seeing here with this side here, we have Gebel, which is the gift, and we have Othala. And Othala is the spiritual inheritance. And I like to see them both upright, because in this context, what it means to me is that this travel over the weekend, whether it's a metaphorical travel, metaphysical travel, or whether it's a physical travel. For example, let's say you're going someplace for the weekend, like I had mentioned earlier, or perhaps it may be a metaphysical travel in the sense that you're going to experience something that you haven't experienced before. For example, you wanted to go to a new restaurant, or you want to go sit down and try something new, or perhaps you may even decide, like, you may have a conversation with someone that radically shifts your perspective about something this weekend, right? But whatever it is that is causing that shift in the modality of motion that you normally are associated with or normally connect with, it's going to bring a gift of connecting to your spiritual inheritance or spiritual abundance. So this weekend may be important for us to call back our power and to call back our energy to ourselves. And what I mean by that is give ourselves the opportunity to sit down, to meditate, to feel through our emotions, to journal about them, to write about them, to share them with our friends or our confidants, to share them with people who we are connected with, whether that may be a therapist, if that is available to you, and have that opportunity, yes, and have that opportunity to really process those emotions. And once those emotions are processed, because that looks different for everybody, it's about pulling in that energy, bringing it all back to you. So for example, as a mantra that you can use, or an affirmation, is to say, with grace and with goodness, I call back to myself all that belongs to me, all of my energy and all the energy that I have given to others willingly and unwillingly. I call it back to myself in goodness and in grace for my highest benefit and for the highest benefit of those around me, right? So something like that, just to be aware of other people's energy, to be aware that not everyone is taking it on purpose, right? But calling it back, because this is about spiritual inheritance. So over the weekend, we may see some closing chapters. We may see some experiences that feel as if like you're feeling more settled and more grounded. And then going into the week ahead, what I'm seeing here is quite interesting, because we have Manas in reverse, right? Which is the rune of mankind. And we also have Ehwaz, but Ehwaz fell on its side. And I love Ehwaz because Ehwaz usually represents partnership, right relationships, right connections. It also represents our what's the word? Social congruence. I think that's the good word that comes to mind, social congruence. This feeling of things falling into place. That's usually what I associate with this rune. But seeing Manas here in reverse means that this week, so I'm seeing more like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday energy this upcoming week. Manas in reverse to me represents the reevaluation of where one is placing one's trust, right? Allowing yourself the ability to look at how much you trust yourself in your gut guidance, and to really just tap into that and use that gut guidance to guide you to a better situation, or to guide you to a space in which this Ehwaz is not on its side, so it's not waiting on your decision, but it's fully coming in with its blessings, it's fully coming in with its energy, it's fully allowing for right partnership, right relationships. So we may be feeling doubts or experiencing doubts, especially after the changes or conversations or feelings or the slight turbulence that may happen in the weekend, over the weekend. But whatever it is, whatever these doubts we may have, I feel like they will be assuaged, they will be calmed down, and we will be able to reconnect to our intuition such that it allows for this abundance to flow into us. So for a very specific few of us, I'm getting the message that it's about allowing yourself to release perhaps friendships or connections or things that may not resonate with you as much as they used to, or to be aware of the boundaries that you have with partnerships or connections, right? And that awareness of that boundary is going to be really beneficial for you in the long run. So that's what I see for the runes ahead. It makes a lot of sense, especially in connection with the energies of Mercury in Cancer, which again is about communication and communicating our emotions, and also with Taurus, with Mars in Taurus, which is all about taking time to take action, right? And using that action in a way that's patient, that's stable, and in a way that feels most secure and most connected to your own emotional integrity. So I hope that makes sense for you guys. I hope that this weekend isn't too stressful for you guys, so please do take your time, rest, make sure you drink your water, make sure you take some time for yourself to pamper yourself, because you deserve it. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe below. It really does help, and I do hope that this message reaches the people that it needs to reach. And otherwise, I shall see you guys next week on the channel. Mwah! Many blessings, and I see you guys soon. Bye everyone.